Hey everybody, welcome to Forge the Narrative. This is Tuesday. Can't stop the signal.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in today. This is not our normal day. We normally do this on Monday, live on Monday. And then the next day it's available on YouTube. To this week, we're doing live on Tuesday. Going to be available on YouTube later on this evening.
Yeah, some things happened. And, Tuesday seemed like a good idea. I got to take this off. I love this thing. Troy.
That does look cool.
Troy, you are my hero, and I love you so much, and I hope you didn't put your genitalia on here because I'm going to lick it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I would.
There you go. What do you do?
I did
Got awesome things to announce this week about Warzone Atlanta. Got some really nice sponsors committed to being there at the weekend. Got some sponsors we're going to talk about on the podcast.
Sweet.
That are going to contribute there in spirit, more than just spirit. I mean, enough for us to thank them and really talk about them, which is going to be nice. Thank you all for listening to me whine last week.
Yeah, that happened a little.
No,
it was something that things happen, and it was just something that needed to be addressed. I mean, if somebody has ill feelings,
I don't run from anything. I don't, I can, if somebody wants to got beef, I'll be happy to talk about it with them. Anyway, it is what it is. Playing the tournament over the weekend, I did not win the tournament.
No.
And I took a brutal list. I took a Lynx, a Wraith Knight, and a Seer Council in a list. And it really, really well. I lost against War Convocation in a Relic mission, and we only got to round 4.
Yeah.
And that's – go ahead.
Well, that's what I was going to say was, how did that matchup go? Like I cut you off right when you're getting in the heat of it.
Well, no, it's fine. Really, I didn't convert on any of the D shots. So it was one of those games where I might as well just been firing basically into the air against a really good cover save and still the shroud and cover and stuff. But it's still, I only lost jet bikes. I mean, I'm sorry, I did lose my Wraith Knight too, but the Wraith Knight took down everything he took to take him. So it was one of those things where we lost. At the end of the round, I probably I can't say I got more points because he was running 700 points in free war gear. So I'm playing 700 points down, and I only lost really because we couldn't get to round 5. And that's
okay.
I have to take, partial responsibility in that because, you never know. I wasn't timing everything, but I will say my next 2 games, I tabled both my opponents, and we finished with an hour or 45 minutes to spare in both of those games.
Well, see, we knew the War Convocation was going to be a tough match, especially like if a good general's behind it and knows when to time everything.
Running a Calexis Assassin, so it was I couldn't really necessarily engage, but in a Relic mission, that's kind of where you want to be, being able to come in there and mix it up towards the end. But it just didn't. Again, time ran out on us.
Yeah.
But I had a good time. It was a very tactical game. Like the dude was not making any mistakes. I wasn't making any mistakes. We just, ran out of time. I ended up losing the round, which sometimes happens.
Yeah, hey, man. I mean, the nice thing, too, though, is you got to see, like, War Convocation in another dimension and like, at a different level and stuff. So I think, there's a lot to take away from that game. So
Yeah, it was good game. Yep. Great opponent. This is somebody that I play routinely at tournaments and even at the house. Great person. No complaints about the game. Like I couldn't, but it was just the way it shook out.
And that was at Gigabyte, right?
It was a Gigabyte's Cafe here in Marietta, Georgia. The best place to play around here.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. When we're down there for the seasonal, I have to go. It's just
nice place. You can get the dude makes handcrafted coffees and sandwiches and stuff in there. That's where the cafe part comes from.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
It's good. It's all. I mean, it's a store I could easily hang out in all day. And if I worked close by, I'd go in there and have lunch.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yep.
Need something like that around here.
Yep. So I'll talk about the games more in depth on the podcast, unless somebody would like to know more about them specifically, in the questions and Q&A we got. Which want to give some shout out, Steve Booley, man, good to see you. Chandler, Troy, Lamont, Sal. Thanks for hanging in there and helping tell everybody about the move to Tuesday just this week.
Yeah. Well, did you get Coach? Coach is in there.
Oh, Coach. Thanks for keeping Justin in check.
Yeah.
questioning his largest arms in 40K.
Right.
Still, my money's on True Smash though.
Yeah.
Although, Coach, you're up there.
I like how he presented it. He's got the most desirable arms in 40K. So,
hey, that's cool. The next big tournament I'm going to is Redstone Rumble. I need to officially register. I keep saying it, but I actually I pulled up the website today and got distracted, but I need to officially register. So if you guys are in the area, I will be there. Warzone Atlanta coming up November 13th through the 15th. It's nice to see the folks that have registered so far. Mm-hmm. Please, more people register. If you are on the fence about anything, please give a shout out in the Facebook group that we have going on, the Warzone Atlanta Facebook group. It's an open group. I think anybody can join. If not, message me on Forge Narrative or my personal Facebook page. Be happy to figure out how to get you in there. I don't know, whatever. It's going to be good times.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. Like for everybody that went to the last seasonal, expect that, like that feeling, that vibe, and then it's going to be like taken up another notch. So. Really?
Yeah, I'll have a PA system I can actually talk into that I'm not louder than normally.
Yeah, that wasn't too much of an issue, but this venue is slightly larger, so.
Oh well, it is, and I love Atomic Empire. That venue was great, and they were so nice to us.
Oh yeah,
can't wait to go there again.
Yeah, that is bar none one of the coolest places ever.
But with your entry into Warzone Atlanta, you're going to get 2 lunches. So the ticket price, it looks like it's a little high, but as you all know, there's no. You have to charge what the hotel makes you charge, essentially. And I mean, just to cover the space. But we're able to swing 2 meals in that with you, 2 hotel meals, 2 convention meals. And it's going to be good.
And another thing, too, like you just posted up on the event site on Facebook, too, there's a room rate now, which previously there was not before. So if you already registered your room, like make sure you call the hotel and be like, yo,
need this room rate. Yeah. Again, I did a lot of just real work today on this tournament, just trying to cram as much value as I possibly can into anybody who goes out of their way. We know it's going out of their way because people are traveling here to come and party with us, and the best competitive social environment in the world.
Oh yeah, and drinking environment.
There'll be a little bit of that. Steve's saying he just finished Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah,
come on, man. I like that book. That book was really good. It has some awesome scenes in it. The next scenario that I'm going to write, like the Horus Heresy kind of changed your fate scenario, is going to be from that book.
That's awesome.
We talked to James Swallow this Sunday. That interview is going to come out this week. I don't know if I want to release it as its own independent thing or on the back of the podcast, but we told him the next one we're going to do is going to come out of some of his stuff. And he was very, very interested in hearing about that. So it's cool to see that the authors are actually taking an interest in some of these kind of what-if things based on their material.
Yeah, man. Like, it's so cool, like, being able to interact and get some feedback from these guys. And then, like, thinking about, like, how we feel when people take, like, the people's missions and, like, they kind of alter them and then they hit us back with stuff. Like, I just imagine, like, that's how they feel, too, Like you created like something cool from my baby that I made. Like that's neat, man. Like it's just got to be such an awesome feeling.
I hope that we give them that feeling, and I hope we do their intent justice. Because we're not doing this because we think that there was any kind of mistakes made or trying to correct anything. This is purely an act of fantasy and just something that seems cool to do with the community.
Yeah, man. I love it. I think is that the man? Look at that. Just jumping in.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, man? Hey, audio's working this time, too. That's good.
I know, right? I was about to jump in and say Ascalon and hope that it worked, but...
That was the answer to last week's trivia question that we couldn't remember. But...
That's right. How you guys doing tonight?
Yeah, pretty good, man. It's Tuesday, halfway through the week. We're going to be recording the podcast tomorrow. It's like we're going to be doing this stuff 24/7 almost.
Yeah, man. The message needs to be spread.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Can't stop the signal.
Yeah.
Did Justin already whine about Tau, and did I miss it?
No, we haven't gone into the Tau stuff, but like, what a difference a day makes. Like, if we'd done this yesterday, we wouldn't have been able to talk about the cool Tau models that we got dropped today.
Yeah,
I know, right? It's fate, Justin.
I'm so excited.
Barrett, good to see you. And Bill saying, looks like the Age of Sigmar flood is over. New White Dwarf has Tau on the cover. 40K returns. And 30K, my friend. It's going to be We're going to get a little bit of 40K right now, and then we're going to jump right into 30K.
Yeah, I'm excited. I just took the leap today.
Yeah, I saw that, man. And I will. Somebody brought up, gave us a question today on the Facebook that was like, I don't think we're ever going to see another Demonkin again, but they think that Khorne was just a one-off kind of thing, and we're not going to see any more Demonkin. My response was, Games Workshop can print money with the Demonkin stuff because they're just kind of repackaging the models they already have in production.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to see it, but I am surprised that we have not seen one by this time already.
Yeah, the fabled Zinch one that should have been out like 2 months ago, along with the plastic Thunderhawk from 4 years ago.
Well, but I think we're a lot closer to the Zinch Demonkin than we are Plastic Thunderhawk.
I agree.
I'm throwing out Plastic Sisters coming before all that.
That's a bold move, Cotton. I don't know.
Yep. Although Sal's got it, he's not even a big fan of Tau, but he's really happy to see the return to 40K. Okay, the new models look good. I like the new Fire Warriors. It's very, very kind of Mass Effect like, and I wish I was technological savvy enough to throw up a picture right now. But check them out. They're not on our Facebook page, but they're on Bowls, and you can definitely see the pictures there. The new whatever, the Missile Tide, the Storm Surge or something I think it's called.
That thing's gonna piss me off.
It's got no arms. Its arms are missiles.
I'm fine with no arms. There's a Robotech thing that has no arms.
Anybody that has seen Gundam Wing or any of these giant robot shows, there are robots with missile arms, and they are still cool. I was just pointing out that its arms, they didn't see the need for arms because it's not punching things, it is missiling things in the face.
Yeah, it's going to have like 750 billion freaking missile shots. Like, it's going to drive me insane.
I don't have my Spartan card handy right now, but there's a Robotech thing. But they have the like big missile compartments for their arms. That's all they've got. And I know we're going to get a lot of missile shots, but I don't know if I like the boxiness of those missile compartments. I think I would rather have them be out a little bit more, almost like Contemptor Dread, like the Dorado.
Oh yeah, that'd probably look a lot better. Yeah, it's a dude. All right, so
I'm not crapping on the model, by the way.
Yeah.
I think it looks amazing. I'm just saying, as an anime fan, I would like to see.
Who's to say you can't do it yourself? I mean, that's kind of the whole point, right?
I was looking at these pictures, and everybody knows how I feel, right? Like I hate Tau with a passion. Yeah, those models are dope. That's on the internet forever.
Yep. Sal is calling me at. His sister's going plastic is as old as we are. It's true. Hopefully I drank enough sarcasm to spit out while I was saying that. I'm not sure when that would actually happen, but it seemed fun. Yeah.
Kent's asking, do we think this is the sign of new Tau, or is this like a full-on codex, or are we just going to get a couple of data slates? I think we're going to get a full-on codex.
They're going to want something to put formations in.
Okay. I don't know that that's necessarily the justification because they've proven they will release formations in campaign books and one-off things or whatever. But I think that there's a lot of, say, Forge World stuff that's been experimental for so long that they're waiting for like this kind of combined release. Like, we're gonna give in 2 or 3 revenue streams right now. We're gonna release a new codex. We're gonna release a reprint of the Tau Forge World book. We're gonna get you buying all this stuff to go with your new Tau army.
I can see that. I think that would be the most logical thing. One of the questions I got a lot when I was prepping for the event that I ran several weeks ago, I had a couple people that were asking me, "Hey, can I bring my experimental Tau suits?" I mean, people have these things. They want to use them.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, dude. But like with some of the experimental stuff, like I know like some of it's a little underpowered, but some of it's like extremely overpowered. Remember when that Riptide first came out? It was like,
oh yeah,
like holy god, like it just didn't make sense. You know what I mean? And
most Forge World stuff is very balanced. It's very like not too efficient on points. It's very balanced.
Yeah,
I find that you get
it is.
And with so many 40K things that you get more than you're before, right in the head. But there's a bit more balance in those Imperial Armor books, I think, than people give credit for.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's the experimental rules that are the thing. Like sometimes, like they release something that's fun and it sounds cool, but it's a little bit broke. So like just with these little tweaks, they fix it very fast too. Like that's the one thing, like when it's experimental, if it's broken, it's fixed really quick. Like
I think you're right, and that's good. Forge World is awesome about giving feedback. Like we've had a bunch of questions coming up for Warzone about, will the Brass Scorpion contribute to the Blood Tithe? I mean, that's kind of what everybody wants to know. And the answer from Forge World is yes. Our answer is yes. How do we have such firm ground to give that answer? Because when Forge World is asked, they reply to emails.
Yeah. I mean, they're open,
And what we know from Carl is that they take it pretty seriously. Like, they'll go and chat with the people who are actually designing these rules before they give some kind of off-the-cuff reply.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such good insight, too, you know what I mean? Like, you can't beat that. They are passionate. Just like, you mentioned Carl. He was talking one day in our pre-show just about, like, how passionate those dudes are. Like, this is the game that they want to play, and that's why they're making it as fun as they can.
No, you're talking about for the Horse Heresy stuff, and I completely agree with you on that.
Just, well, in general, on the Forge World side.
And I'm also leaning, like, the Eldar stuff has the Forge World stuff has the Distort rule, which doesn't exist anymore. It tells you to go reference Codex Eldar. Now it's all string D stuff.
Yeah.
I've got the... I remember hearing somewhere, and this is kind of off the cuff. I don't have anything that I can back this up with, but there was talk from one of the Forge World Open Day at Amsterdam that they're working on a Mimera update, which I think is the Eldar one. Is that right?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So maybe that fix is coming for you, Paul.
Oh, I'm sure it is. But in the meantime, I think that the logical thing is to use whatever the equivalent is in the new codex.
Yeah.
That is the sensible thing to do.
So if we just
house rule, yeah.
I mean, if we just kind of keep along the logic train and stay close to the source material, I think we can all figure this out. But it's nice that branch of the company is so open to communicate with us. And I don't mean us; I mean the community in general.
Yeah. Well, Black Library just opened up their Facebook page again too, right?
They did. Yes. I mean, I guess
they did. Yeah, I started following.
Means. So, I mean, that's something, man. I mean, I think that we're going to start seeing another side of GW as a whole. Like, I'm willing to bet, like, GW Prime is going to step up again very shortly. And where is Duncan Rhodes? All right? Like, I'm seriously getting pissed.
I agree with you on that. I actually questioned that today. I had let's say a lull at work. And I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I'm missing any painting tutorials.
No.
And nope. I'm not missing it. But
I haven't seen anything.
He did like
Age of Sigmar.
The gates or whatever. Like that was the most recent thing he did, and that was
that gate tutorial was good.
Yeah, it was just so long ago. It was like a millennium.
Yeah, it's forever ago on the internet.
Yeah.
No one's gonna remember who that guy is.
we have entered the dark millennium of Duncan Rhodes painting tutorials.
Yeah. I did watch the kind of walkthrough for Battlefield Gothic, the video game coming out.
Yeah, that's looking pretty fun too. It's like epic, but like video game version of it, right?
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot going on with it.
I'm way excited about that.
Yeah, I think it will be fun. I got nothing to go on with like the creators of the game. But I hope that it's fun, and the gameplay looks interesting right now.
Yeah, I can't beat it, man. Like it's big ships. It's probably going to be big explosions. I feel like it's going to be over the top, and I think that's going to be good because that's what I feel like this specific genre needs in that video game setting. Like how Space Marine was just over the top. Like it just. From a normal gamer's perspective, looking at it, you're like, oh man, this game's kind of a little bit, But for our perspective, it's like this dude is like wreaking havoc on a WOG, and it's awesome.
It was awesome. I agree. Hopefully,
it was like reading the books and putting it in a video game.
Well, you can play Abaddon in this new version, I think, of the new Battlefield Gothic.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, having having not played the tabletop version of Battlefield Gothic, all of the space battle stuff has used different systems that I've played. I'm very excited to see the mechanics that I enjoy reading about, like the boarding party launches, the torpedoes, the lance barrages, how that all interacts. Like
Oh, we're losing him.
It looks like it's
the tabletop version was a little clunky with tokens and like lots of tokens, like so many tokens.
It's like some War Machine going on, right?
But when we talked to Andy Chambers recently, he told us about his new like spaceship game, which is less token intensive.
Hey,
that's right. So what was that? Drop Fleet Commander? Is that the one?
Drop Fleet, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have to admit the models coming up for that look really cool.
Yeah.
I got so confused with that.
Have you seen those? Pick dumps for those?
I've seen them, and I think they're good.
That's Drop Zones Commander's like epic version, right? Like bigger
it's their space battles, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think you drop. You just.
It's
fly.
basically like, from what I understand, you are fighting in low orbit, and your ships are trying to get down to the surface, and it's supposed to be complementary with the land-based game, so you can build a scenario in the land-based game based off of the results of a game you played of the other.
Hey, Coach is saying the new Games Workshop mobile Death Watch game is awesome.
I've played it. It's fun.
Oh,
There's a lot of it takes up a lot of memory. It's over a gig for just that app.
It's worth every bit. It's fun. Like it's that really good. Like sit down and on your porcelain throne and just hammer it out, man.
Ben's saying that Ben Cornelius is saying that he's really glad that they do experimental rules first.
Yeah, I mean it's nice to try out new things. I mean that's kind of the point of it. I like it.
Well, ultimately, we're going to buy models that are good, that do good things in the game if we're concerned with winning some games. But we also want to have models that look cool and we enjoy playing with.
Yeah.
Because by the time that we buy the model, clean the model up, put the model together, paint the model, we're hours deep into this, and I don't want to be painting a model just because I need its rules on the table.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good perspective too. Yeah,
I will paint some because I need that, but I don't want that to be the only reason I'm doing it.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Like let's say 150 zombies or whatever.
No way.
Love playing with that many zombies. I do. I like having that stuff.
No, I love it too. Painting it was terrible. I think you have a few more painted than I do, but. Good Lord, man! It's just
mine come thanks to Kelsey Haley, who is a commission painter in the Virginia area.
Kelsey's a good guy.
Oh yeah, he's a tournament staple here in the Southeast.
Yeah.
Very good guy.
Class act, very funny dude. Like one of those dudes. Like if you're at the table with him, you're laughing the entire time and you're walking away with a good time.
Yep. Yeah, he did very well at the last seasonal tournament too.
Yep.
Hopefully we see him at this one coming up here in November.
That'd be awesome.
So I know we're kind of jumping all over the place, but we don't have any new rules on the Tau stuff. I mean, I think we're all very excited about it. I do the Fire Warriors, the new big, whatever the big Riptide thing is, the Storm. I think somebody says it's called the Storm Surge.
Stupid Tide. That's what I'm calling it.
Dumb Tide. And then the new whatever that looked like some kind of commander is.
Yeah, It said something about stealth, like it was some kind of giant stealth suit, which is a bit of a stretch for me. How do you make something that big stealthy?
Yeah, cloaking devices. I mean, we got the demon princes that have stealth and shroud with bugs, like clouds of flies. Yeah,
well, that's do you think that this the stealth tide is going to be surrounded by a bunch of flies? I mean, I have an easier time believing in orc camouflage.
No, but I think it'll cloak itself, like blend like a chameleon, blend in its surroundings or whatever, just like the stealth suits.
Kind of like the stealth suits, yeah. I mean, I can see that. It just it's one of those things that I question.
We're shooting lasers. Who cares?
Their plasma don't get hot. They can cloak, buddy.
From buying it. I'm just saying. I'm trying to picture how that. I mean, I can see some really cool conversions coming off of that being. Stealthy or whatever, paint jobs and melding it into the base or whatever. You know how we've seen with the stealth suits from time to time. Yep. That could be cool.
Yeah, that clear recasting and stuff like that, and then throwing in some effects. Those are really cool. Like I'm generally not a fan of recasts and stuff like that, but like that's recasting done correctly.
I can agree with that. So I've been trying to like kind of hem and haw about what the next things I'm going to build. You know, you guys know I've been building this 30K AdMech army.
Mm-hmm.
And today I started kind of like playing with the possibility of making the Thalax be counts as cataphrons with the right weapons on them.
I think that would be cool. I don't think anybody's going to argue with you on that either. I mean, if someone has a problem with you using Mechanicum units for your Adeptus Mechanicus 40K stuff, they need a live talk.
Well,
which ones are the Thalaxes?
The Thalax are like the medium. They're like the Terminator size robots.
Okay, so their height
they got the
profile
robes,
is about the same.
right?
They don't have robes. They look like the Cylons from the Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, so I'm thinking of the Myrmidons.
No, the Myrmidons are the ones with the robes and the gun arms. They look good. Those look good.
Yeah, those are cool looking. So okay, I mean I
they're
can see
less
it.
robot-y though than the Thalax.
Yeah, because I mean the height profile is going to be the same, base size is the same. I wouldn't see an issue with that really. I mean, as long as the gun represents the gun,
I think they're yeah, that's what I would do. I would actually get the bits, you know, if I can find them.
Yeah.
To make the whatever the appropriate gun was that I wanted to use, but I want to have again. It's not even like I'm already very heavily invested in the Mechanicus, you know. So that's not really the question. I just kind of want to have all my stuff, you know, look themey.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean getting that cross play, I mean that's gonna be cool. Like 30K, it seems like it's gonna be something that once this box comes, like I think 30K is just gonna explode, and like a lot of people that are myself included, right? Like I'm not jumping on the 30K bandwagon yet because it's not really here. I'm waiting for Space Wolves, and by the time they come, holy cow, we're gonna have Plastic Heresy.
Here's Kent making another good point for you, Chris. He said if Creed can make a tank squad sneak up on people, then the Tau can make a giant stealth suit.
Touche. Yeah.
I will not argue that.
Yeah.
I will not.
Yeah. Their plasma don't get hot, dude. Like they know. That's
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Justin. But
no, you're good, man. You're good.
Yeah, but that's what I was messing around with. I do a lot of, you know, while I'm sitting waiting on another call to start or whatever, killing a few extra minutes at lunch. I'm just like, what can I build? What can I find right now to build?
Yeah.
And I started thinking about that today because I've got all my my Skitarii stuff like acquired. I've got it all.
Yeah. You gotta put them dune crawlers together, man. They're quick.
I'm going to, and they look good, or they look better than I thought they were going to look. And now that I've seen a few in person, no, they're small. They're smaller than I thought they were, which is fine.
Yeah, they're small in your hand.
Shorter. Say shorter than I thought they were. But that's completely fine. Now that I've seen them in person, I do like them a little bit better than they are on the box. But you know, whatever. That's normal nowadays.
Yeah, Centurions.
So you guys on the show, you don't think it'd be that big of a deal to have these Thalax dudes as cataphrons if they have the appropriate weapon, and there aren't any other robots that look that way in the army?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Like, you can't run Thalax and these dudes and have them count as or anything naturally.
No, not really. No.
Well, speaking of that, though, I mean, what are the chances that we're going to see a Forge World book in the Imperial Armor-esque style that brings in these Mechanicum units into the Adeptus Mechanicus? That's something you might want to think about.
Eventually, yeah, I can see it.
I think it'd be silly not to do it, and you know, we talk about it all the time, or not at least routinely enough.
There's a lot of things that they need to do before that they start that or do that, in my opinion. But yes, like there's no way they're not gonna do it. You know, it might take a couple of years, but I think we'll see it eventually.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely see a Dark Mechanicus creep up.
That'd be so awesome.
Once we have that, and I think that's kind of even almost hinted at in the new Thagmata Codex. Like there's like two different classifications of Battle Brothers in the Ally Matrix that I saw in Bowls today.
Oh, the Mechanicum and Dark Mechanicum?
Well, I don't know that
What
they
was
come
it?
out and say it's Mechanicum and Dark Mechanicum. I did not get to read all of that. I just saw the picture, and I'm like, I need to come back and look at that.
I gotcha.
I
Because
do
I
that so
don't
much.
have the red book yet, but it's very needed.
That's what I'm holding off on, just because I'm not collecting any Mechanicum stuff. So I put a bit more priority on the Legion stuff.
Oh yeah, you're not going to go wrong with that. I mean, there's the Legion stuff is very awesome. I just like the look of the Mechanicus.
Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with
It
that.
just screams that John Blanche 40K style of our artistic style,
Yeah.
and I like that a lot. I wish I could paint like those pictures. I mean, I'm getting closer and closer, but not there yet.
That's awesome.
Oh, for a 40K art style, I mean, that I understand a lot of people are real big fans of John Blanche. Some people don't like it as much. Personally, I enjoy the newer art more. Like there's that image in the Blood Angel Codex where you've got the neophytes coming up to the cup. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
Like that looks so cool to me. Like and the
I like the
style
new
of
one
it
too.
just. And I think you can like both. I mean, there's nothing wrong with liking both. I prefer that a little bit better because that's the way my imagination works. I can't think abstractly about these things as well as I could. But for a while, those were the only kind of pictures we had of the Primarchs, was the John Blanche kind of style on that. Do you remember any of those from back in the day?
Oh yeah, they're beautiful. I have the Mortarion print. It's the only one I was lucky enough to get. I've been on the hunt for the rest of them. I mean, they're often private collections. They're not available for trade or purchase right now from the Black Library. No one is offering them, and I've been on the hunt for the rest of them, especially Sanguinus and Lehman Russ, for years now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like I have such like a mental image of what the Lehman Russ sculpt is going to be.
Yeah.
I need it.
He's got like a fairly clean-shaven face, right? True.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I always imagined him beardy for some reason, and then when the art started coming out and I started looking into it, I was like, oh, he's not very beardy.
Yeah, he's got great hair.
He's cool. He's cool.
Great
I mean, he's got Thorial, like flowing locks of wolfy awesomeness.
This is not getting weird at all. I just want to say that it's not very weird.
Hey,
What are you talking about, Paul?
What I do in my wolf hut with my wolf lord is.
Speaking
is
of weird, I was able to play Cthulhu Wars over this past weekend.
Oh,
How was
man.
that?
That game is awesome. Now, before it looks like it's gonna, when you look at it and you look at the subject matter and you look at like just the concept of what you have in your head of Lovecraftian gods and insanity and that kind of stuff, the game has that built into it, but it's still playable for people that are not that hardcore. Me and my wife played it with another couple.
Oh, okay.
And let's just say that my wife and the people we played with are not as nerdy and geeky as I am. But the game itself has these beautiful miniatures. I mean, the miniatures they're the size of the Elder Gods. The main miniatures that you can summon throughout the course of the game are the size of Demon Princes. I mean, they are the size of Dreadnoughts. I mean, they're out 28 millimeter scale, and they're large. I posted a picture up on the Facebook, and I'll get some more pictures up the next time I break the game out.
Yeah.
But the game plays. You can pretty much play. I don't want to say cooperative. It's not cooperative, but there's different levels of competitiveness that you can play the game to.
Okay.
And that was very appealing. Like, we were able to have a lot of table talk, a lot of banter, and there was, one of the people of the plan was like, "You don't tell me how to live my life. I just want to summon giant monsters on the top of portals to extra dimensions." And that's what she did. She just went around just summoning big old monsters, and she got her wish. She's summoning 3 or 4 giant monsters. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's
Man.
funny.
Like, got like a little bit of an open end to it. You kind of play how you want to play.
You can play it aggressively, where you're in direct competition with the other people on the board, or you can play it a little bit more relaxed and just let the game play out as it does.
No, that's so neat, man. Like,
there's a mechanic. Yeah, there's a mechanic in the game to where like our figures can occupy the same square, the same landmass, like the same continent or ocean or whatever, and it doesn't matter. Like we choose to fight when we choose to fight.
I gotcha.
Okay.
Now that sounds like something that I would get from my brother. He's very much into all of that Arkham Horror and Mansions of Madness and all of those fantasy
Arkham
flight
Horror is
games.
great, very competitive, or sorry, very cooperative, but yeah, it's still an interesting game.
Anytime you get Cthulhu and Arkham Horror, it's just like, all right, this is bad. This is gonna hurt.
Well, with this game, I just put it out there. It's like, I'm playing Cthulhu and no one else. Like, I don't care what you think you're doing, but I'm playing Cthulhu and this is what's going to go down.
Yeah.
I will say that there was one time where we actually did manage to kill him when he came out from, like, it was the most intense board game moment of my life. Was
my
fighting
wife
and killing Cthulhu.
Played Haster, the yellow sign is what it's called in this
like
game.
The King in Yellow.
The King in Yellow, who some people think is Haster, but
right,
whatever. I
gotcha.
I actually got into a conversation with this about this at the game store, and this dude's like, I don't want to have a nerd conversation. I'm like, look, you've locked up with the wrong guy then, because I'll sit there and, like, you're not going to discuss mythos with me and think that you can just throw something out there like the King in Yellow is Haster and then get away with it, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, we had that conversation.
That Pandora's box has opened.
But my wife actually won the game. She won the game as the yellow sign.
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
it's great you can get her to play with you.
Yeah, I want to put it out. It's a game the game looks like it might not be kind of digestible and approachable because there's a lot going on with it. It's like you're gaining abilities throughout the course that every one of the armies has essentially a series of tasks to complete. You don't have an order that you have to complete them in. You just have to complete them, and if you complete them, then you're able to kind of go around the world wreaking havoc until someone stops you. But until then, it can be as kind of progresses as the table wants it to progress.
How was it, like, out of the box, like the learning curve and stuff? Like, how long did it take you guys to, read through, set up, and get going?
We just jumped right into it.
Nice.
I think if it probably needs a read through, but the rule book's not very thick.
Oh, okay.
There's a bunch of examples in the rule book of what they really mean. Like they'll tell you a rule and they'll tell you what they really mean.
That's always useful because the implied meaning doesn't always come through in the text. That's one of the things that we're talking about in my college courses right now. I'm doing technical writing, and I am thinking I will write rule books when I am done with this class, and I will fix all of the GW problems. They will pay me money.
There's a theory. I don't want to go. I'm going to talk more about this game, but I'll talk about the theory of open rules for open interpretation after this. So I guess what I wanted to just put out there is, like, if you're interested in this type of, it's like if Risk was made right now, and because Risk is a game from the 40s.
Yeah, it's super old.
If something like that was made right now, this is more of the style of game that it would be made, and then you get to play with giant, insanity driving, world-ending monsters.
Yeah, that's fresh, man. Like, everybody loves Cthulhu too, Like,
the miniatures are amazing, and there's not just one miniature. It's not just the Elder Gods that are amazing. There are different levels of monsters. That you've got your cultist, and everyone has the same type of cultist. It's the same sculpt, but it's a 28mm scale. So, like, if you want to, let's say you play Call of Cthulhu with your crew or whatever, and you need miniatures or you want miniatures, this is the game to get.
That's dope.
It comes with handfuls of miniatures.
Yeah, and they look like good, hardy, like a good plastic and stuff.
They are, dude. They really are. I was very impressed. Like they didn't spare any expense.
That's good.
And people were kind of talking like, man, the game could have existed with less quality miniatures. Like, yeah, it could have, but why?
Yeah.
Like this is great.
Yeah, I like Walmart T-shirts too.
Yeah, each sign, each character or whatever has a couple of different levels of monsters, and they're all different. Everything looks good. They did a really good job with this game. So I kind of suggest people check it out because I'm impressed with it. And on this level, I'm kind of hard to impress, but I'm very much impressed with the level of detail that went into this game.
That's awesome.
I would like to see some pictures of those cultists because, I was telling you about my Zinj conversion ideas that I wanted to do. And the robed cultist look is kind of what I'm looking for if I were to do like
There's
a
only
Siege
one
Chaos.
pose of them, unfortunately.
Okay.
But
Well, I mean, for that kind of game, that's sort of expected.
Oh yeah, it's a board game. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not. But for like, say you're playing on a tabletop with Call of Cthulhu, you bust into a room with 12 angry cultists. Then these are your miniatures.
Yeah, that seems cool, man. Like I definitely want to check that game out.
It's a Sandy Peterson game. The box is sleek. Everything about it feels good.
Yeah. You said that was the one that has like a hefty price point on it, or?
Yeah, I think you can get it on Amazon for less than you might be able to get it, just off a game store website. And I'm certainly not trying to get people to circumvent your game store. I'm saying if you are a price buyer, then there are ways out there to get it a little less expensive.
Okay.
But it's worth getting if you like board games that you get, like it seems a lot more. The complexity is kind of what you make it, and the competitiveness of it is kind of what you make it. And you like the subject matter, then this is a must-have.
And replayability.
It had replayability for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So sorry, Chris. I know I went off like it, but anyway, y'all guys know how I feel about Cthulhu, and this is awesome.
Yeah, Cthulhu feels about you too, man.
Yeah. But open-ended rules for games. There is a lot of theory that people get taught now in like game design classes and that kind of stuff about designing somewhat ambiguous rules that gets people like us talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it was all clear cut, I guess we wouldn't really have much to talk about, would we?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, just think about it. Our podcast, our webcasts, they're sometimes devoted to one particular element of this game, something in a rule book.
Or conflicting interpretations of the same rule.
Yeah, fair enough. Sal's got a great question. He says he's starting to get in 30K training with Death Guard. With regards to the lore books, do y'all have any recommendations that really showcase their awesomeness? If you're reading the Horus Heresy series linearly, then you definitely want to get up to Flight of the Eisenstein.
Yes.
That's the 4th book in the series, written by James Swallow. And I'm not necessarily plugging him or that book, but that book frames a lot of what 30K Death Guard are all about.
Yeah, it provides a fairly big picture of the pre-Heresy Death Guard versus the during the Heresy Death Guard. I think that and the juxtaposition of that is part of the book itself. So I think that's definitely something that you would want to reference if you're trying to get some background history on it. What are some of the other books that feature them? I know they're in Vengeful Spirit, although a little bit less featured
Mortarion's in Scars.
Yes.
To some degree. They are also in whatever Galaxy in Flames, I think, in a pretty good element.
The opening trilogy, the Isstvan 3.
Yeah, if you can get your hands on like a 2nd edition codex, Chaos Codex, there's stuff in that. If you really want to go deep, and I mean like real deep, get the Slaves of Darkness original hardback from 2nd edition, or might have been the end of 1st, beginning of 2nd edition Chaos book. It's like this thick. It's got a Great Unclean one on the front, and that has the best 40K lore in codex format that you're ever going to read.
Nice.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I remember the first time I got introduced to Death Guard was during the 3rd edition campaign, where it was the Eye of Terror campaign. And in the White Dwarf, one of the White Dwarfs that was featuring that campaign, they had a whole section devoted to the Death Guard history, and that's where I learned about Typhon turning into Typhus and the whole conspiracy there, and what he did to kind of move the Legion towards Nurgle and Chaos. It was very informative. I think I still have the issue around here somewhere, but it's in a box. It's been a long time.
It just kind of depends on how you want to digest that. The Lexicanum on the web is also a good resource.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you want to read stories that really just kind of make you feel cool about it, you get to Flight of the Eisenstein, and I want to say Galaxy in Flames, but you probably don't want to necessarily start with those. So I don't know where you are.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Kent here coming in. Lost in the Damned was the Nurgle Zinch book. Slaves to Darkness was Khorne and Slaanesh.
My apologies. It is, those are a long time ago, but they are both awesome books. And it's kind of funny that there's even contradictions between, between the two. But that's how they were evolving. That's how. But in the 2 years between those two books or whatever, they were evolving the storyline and just such a or the backstory at a rapid rate.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nothing wrong with that. Anytime you're going through a big creative surge like that, those kind of things are gonna pop up.
I drool over I break them out every now and then and just read them because I never get tired of rereading some of the content in those books.
That's neat, man. From my perspective, I wasn't around the hobby then, so it's neat to hear some of the stuff that myself, I never got to enjoy it. So now I have something to look forward to. Hit up eBay, try to find this, try to find that. I love that. Getting some of that deeper knowledge.
Steve's got a good question here. He says, "Don't have a rule book handy, but unless there's a specific house rule or TO rule." Can you play with a formation as your only detachment? Yes, you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's considered battle forged.
Yeah, and there's a way to pick a warlord. There's a hierarchy of things. You basically need to have a character model in there, and if there isn't a character model, then you I'll break it out right now. But y'all entertain them while I do that.
No, I think it's. I don't believe it's Unbound, because Unbound is basically no formation, no detachments. Well, formation is considered a formation detachment. All of the a straight formation. If you have 3 formations and it equals 1850, then it's still considered a Battleforged army. Now I believe so far as the warlord stuff is considered, you would pick someone like a sergeant. If you don't have a sergeant, if you don't have a character, then you have to pick up. It has to be clearly either modeled or labeled. But that's again off the cuff here.
Yeah, I know the wording was weird, but when you're building stuff like that, what do you have in mind? Because a lot of those are a little hard to do right now too. There's some that you can really squeak in. Space Marines, I was finding myself having no trouble at all. So it's definitely doable, and no TO minus source restrictions maybe. I know sometimes certain events 1 or 2 sources, and they count each formation as a source. So it just depends on that, But hit us up in the chat thingy. What are you looking for in particular that you're trying to build for that?
I'm trying to think of something that wouldn't have a character. As part of a formation.
If your warlord, your warlord is a potent force upon the battlefield. Not only is he a mighty hero with skills, blah blah blah. He also, if your warlord is a character model, then he has 1 warlord trait.
Mm-hmm.
When choosing your army, you must nominate 1 model to be your warlord. Unless specified otherwise, this must be a character model. If you do not have any character models in your army, then select any other model in your army to be the warlord.
Mm-hmm.
The model you choose as your warlord also determines your primary detachment.
There it is. So that's I guess for your formations, if you're looking for that Feel No Pain or something like that,
every army has a primary detachment. If you organize your army using the Battleforge method, whichever detachment contains your warlord as your primary detachment. If you use the Unbound method, then okay, whatever. Sorry, now I'm going to look up formations. That's not fluff. That's the actual rules. Formations.
It's our best reader.
Yep. Formations are a special type of detachment, each a specific grouping of units renowned for their effectiveness. Whilst some formations provide you with all the gaming information you will need, some don't. All right. Y'all keep talking while I'm looking at this.
Okay, so it looks like he's talking about the Bloodied Horde formation from the Warhammer World Blood Oath book.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm completely unfamiliar with those. Do you want to hit us up? Let us know exactly what's in that, or
I got it here.
Okay. Well,
Paul, you got everything right there.
The man with the plan. TPM in the house with all the rules.
Yeah, unlike other detachments, formations can also be taken apart as an unbound. Yeah, I think it would probably go on to say that they would be battle forged.
Yeah, if you're doing an unbound thing and it's making the exception that formations can also be part of unbound, that there indicates that it would be part of a battle forge.
We're
I
getting
hope that
robotic.
I hope that answers the question with the fact that you just nominate somebody.
Yeah.
And that's if it's your primary detachment.
Yeah. I mean,
or it becomes your primary detachment.
Yeah, dude, like the formations and stuff. There's so many fun combos that you get to do. So, like, hit us up, man, for sure. Like with some ideas that you're having, and we'll look at them and stuff like
the
that.
Bloody
Like,
Horde is 8 units of Bloodletters, 2 units of Blood Crushers, and 2 Skull Cannons.
Oh yeah, I like skull cannons. They're fun. Like some people kind of like hate on them, but I think they're fun.
The Skull Cannons?
Yeah, they've got some interesting tricks, and I don't see many people using them on the table, but I like the burning skulls thing that makes it. I think you can re-roll your charge against a unit that's hit by those. I mean, it's got some ignores cover in there. I think that it's got some use.
They synergize really well. I mean, yeah, they're probably not the most competitive choices, but like I said, like I think they're fun.
I actually get Steve's questions. My apologies. Is if your Warlord is a character model, then he has one Warlord trait. So with no character models, he would not get a Warlord trait. But he would still be the Warlord. You still would have to nominate a Warlord.
Okay.
That's the question.
Warlord, of course.
So no Warlord trait, correct. Still has a Warlord for the purposes of whatever the Warlord does. Slay the Warlord, something in the mission, or whatever.
Yeah. That makes a lot more sense.
My apologies for taking so long to realize the question.
Yeah, he hangs out with me, guys. Like he's just forgetting how to read. That's all.
That Blood Oath, it's getting a lot of attention now, especially in the Warzone Atlanta tournament because we're allowing it, and I think other tournaments are allowing it too. We're not the only ones, and there are only a couple of formations in there that are actually playable within an 1850 format.
Yeah, a lot of them are really big. So
I got a question over the weekend. Okay, should you guys raise the points to 2,000? And the answer is no. And the reason is because, and I feel this way 100%. The reason is because the way to balance this game is through missions and through points. 2,000 points with unlimited stuff gets a little ridiculous sometimes. I mean, I just played in it. I had a Wraith Knight and a Lynx, and
on a Sky Shield
yeah. I mean, it was, and at 2,000 points, I can't. Let's just say there were no other restrictions. At 2,000 points, I really can't afford the Sky Shield.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference. That's a huge difference in the overall effectiveness of the army.
Yeah.
Remind me how that went, Paul. I know you checked in with us on game 2, and I didn't follow up after that. How did it go towards the end of that?
1-2, lost 1. I mean, that was, and the loss was, it's an objective game. We got to round 4. It's a relic, and you guys know you need all your turns in a relic mission most of the time. At least I did. I was playing up against a War Convocation with a Calexis Assassin.
Ooh, so the Calexis.
It becomes a positioning. Yeah, I've got a Seer Council, so I got 900 points right up in Psychic Powers. Yeah, so it's a position game, and without all, it just gets harder, even harder to win that matchup without all your turns. But that's not taking nothing away from the dude that won.
I mean, and people were saying the Calexis Assassin is clunky. How do we fit this in? What do we do with it? Your list had to deal with that, and yours was a strong list.
Yeah, well, I sent Baharoth over there to kill him, and it almost worked.
Wow.
Yeah, if it wasn't for, and this is the key for anybody who wants to do, and I'll talk about this a little bit on the show, is that he had models that reduced Baharoth's stats.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. The rad dudes and stuff.
Yeah. And that's why Baharoth really got killed.
Yeah, okay.
Now, he doesn't have an invulnerable save, and the assassin does. Baharoth's got a lot of attacks. He can get off some blinds. He can do all, all kind of stuff. And the assassin limped away with 1 wound left after that fight.
Yeah, those it's the Vanguard that do that. Dude, those guys are so good. Like the Rangers, they look cooler, but the Vanguard are just so much better.
Yeah, and if that assassin goes down, it's a whole different game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
Oh,
truth.
yeah.
I almost killed an avatar with that assassin. I rolled the 6 to wound him. He passed his demon invulnerable save. It was that close. But I tied him up in 3 rounds of combat.
Yeah, that assassin does work when used correctly, man.
And that's actually what I was planning on. I wasn't planning on Baharoth killing him, but I had him locked in place on the other side of the table for a couple. We're playing a hammer and anvil, so where you can skirt is reduced.
Why does everybody do hammer and anvil for relic? Like, I want some Dawn of War relic. You know what I'm saying?
A Dawn of War relic is fun too. I mean, it's
like, let's get in it. You know what I mean? Like, that's relic. Like, I want to be there. Let's have some fun right now.
Well, okay, with Dawn of War relic, the logic of a mission designer is you're going to be right there fighting in that middle anyway.
Yeah.
So why not give the more use to the table?
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
I guess. I don't know.
It makes more sense to do it in the Vanguard deployment or the freaking or Hammer and Anvil, but I want Dawn of War. I was about to say a bad word.
Well, guys, we made it through another hour.
We did. 45 minutes.
Yeah, Chris, I'm glad you were able to join in with us. I'm really happy that folks here got to get in the chat tonight, even though we're not on our normal night.
Yeah, we had some real great questions and comments. I really enjoy it. Keep it coming, guys.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I tried to die yesterday, so,
Yeah, stop doing that.
Some things happened. Coach is, he sent some love, and I know Sal hit me up on my personal, and a couple other people, thanks for the best wishes and whatnot. I'm
glad you made it.
Yeah, man.
I can't even kill myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how awesome I am. So
your own body rebelling against you.
Yeah.
Well, guys, again, thanks for tuning in on our off night. Justin, thanks for making it. Chris, thanks for making it too. Of course, all you guys in the chat, all you folks that watch us on YouTube later, please hit the like button. I think this is the one that looks like this. Please do that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You guys got anything to add before we get out of here?
No, just go on to our Facebook as well. Hit us up with questions, lists. Make sure you add us to your favorites on your feed so that you don't miss any of our page updates. And we look forward to seeing you again.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.
Cheers.